If you're going through a divorce in the state of Tennessee, one of the biggest questions that you probably have is who is going to get to stay in the marital residence while the divorce is pending, right? You and your spouse, your soon to be ex, obviously are going through a rough patch in your life because you're going through a divorce. Now, if y'all are both living in the same house while the divorce is going on, that in many cases can be a recipe for disaster. So, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to stay in the house with your spouse? Are you supposed to leave? Are you supposed to force them out? These are common questions that people have, and the actions that you take can, in some cases, have a drastic impact on who gets to keep the house later on down the road. So let's break it down. In the state of Tennessee, if you guys were both married and y'all own this house together, or this was the marital residence, you continue, both of you, to have equal opportunity to live in that house throughout the divorce process, unless there is an order to the contrary. So just because you're going through a divorce doesn't mean that you can kick your spouse out automatically or that your spouse can kick you out automatically. You guys both own the house. You both have the right to be in the house. And note, this also applies to rental properties. If you guys are both on the lease, you both have the right to be there, regardless of whether the divorce is pending or not. So what should you do? Should you try to stay in the house with your spouse while you're going through the divorce process? Well, it depends. And that's a personal decision that you have to make based on your unique facts and circumstances. If you feel safe in the house with your spouse, if there's no risk of domestic abuse, verbal abuse, obviously it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable at times. But if y'all can stay together and cohabitate in the house, you are free to do so. And in fact, many people elect to do just that as they progress through the divorce process. They stay in the house together. Maybe they don't share a bedroom. Most cases, they definitely don't share a bed, but they sometimes stay in the same house, and that is perfectly fine. However, if there is domestic abuse in the house, if there is severe verbal abuse in the house, if you have minor kids and you guys are fighting like cats and dogs and it's negatively impacting your children, it starts to make a whole lot of sense for one or both of you to get out of the marital house. So, how do you decide that? Well, more than welcome to talk to your spouse and figure out, can you guys agree for one of you to vacate the house? But if you can't, and this happens all too often, you can go to the court on what's called a motion for exclusive possession of the marital residence. And you can explain to the judge your side of the circumstances, right? Courts look for things like, is there domestic abuse in the house? Was one parent a primary caregiver and you two are fighting now and that's negatively impacting the children? Does one parent have the ability to move outside of the home, right? Is there friends and family that are ready and willing to accept that person into their other household? Do they have the financial ability to support the household, or do they have the ability to support maybe going out and renting another place somewhere else? These are factors the judge is going to look at. Now, I'll tell you the most important ones are, is there domestic abuse in the home? And if so, the perpetrator would be the one that the judge is going to be most likely to tell to hit the road, right? Because they're the ones causing the bad acts. They're the ones that are making it unsafe for the two parties to cohabitate. If there are minor children involved and one parent has been the primary caregiver, courts want to see stability for that minor child. So they'll be more likely to tell the parent that's not the primary caregiver to hit the road and find housing elsewhere. Now, I told you that how you set this up can have an impact later on who gets to keep the house. Here's why. Just because you vacate the marital residence doesn't mean you lose the interest in the monetary aspect of the home. But if you want to keep, and I mean physically keep the home after the divorce, and you're going to have a trial on, does this house get sold or do I get to keep it? If you've already vacated the home, it makes it less likely for judges to award you the marital residence. Whereas if you stay in the home, it makes it more likely for judges to award you the marital residence. Now, they'll still compensate whichever party doesn't get to keep the marital residence. They'll still compensate that party monetarily. But if you physically want to retain that residence because you're attached to it emotionally, because it protects the stability of your family, of your kids, then staying in the marital residence gives you a leg up when you later on ask the judge to award you the marital residence. Now, I hope this was helpful. And if you're going through any kind of divorce, even if you guys weren't legally married and y'all are just splitting up, but you guys owned real property together, give my office a call. We service the entire Tri-Cities area, and we can walk you through this to make sure that you don't mess it up and that you don't jeopardize any rights that you have to your marital residence. My number is 423-777-8396. Give me a call and let's set up a consultation to speak. Hope to see you soon.